Title: Journal Entry Number 02, The Quiet Pressure of FOMO. Hello. This is another page from my trading journal. Today I want to write about something I have struggled with many times in my own trading journey. FOMO. The fear of missing out. There were many days when I opened the chart and saw the market already moving. A strong candle pushing upward. Then another. And suddenly the chart looked alive. In those moments I often felt a strange pressure building inside me. Not panic. Not exactly excitement either. Just a quiet feeling that I might be missing something important. My mind would begin whispering small thoughts. Maybe I should enter now. What if this move keeps going? What if this is the big move of the day? At first those thoughts always felt harmless. But over time I began to notice something deeper happening inside my mind. Because when we see a trade that looks like it is making money, the brain begins to react. Anticipation appears. The imagination starts calculating the profit that could have been ours. And slowly the chart stops looking like information. It starts looking like opportunity slipping away. The longer I watched the candles move, the stronger that pressure became. Eventually I noticed that something subtle had changed inside my thinking. I was no longer asking whether the trade fit my plan. Instead I was asking something else. What if I miss it? And that is usually the moment when I realize I am no longer trading my strategy. I am trading my fear. Over time I began noticing something interesting. FOMO sometimes looks almost like revenge trading. But it is slightly different. There were moments when I entered trade after trade, especially after a loss. At first it looked like revenge trading. But when I looked deeper, I realized something else was happening. I wasn't trying to recover my losses. I was trying to prove that my analysis was right. I kept telling myself that the market was just sweeping liquidity. That the price would soon move in the direction I expected. So I entered again. And again. And again. But the market didn't turn. And the losses slowly stacked up. Looking back, I realized the real problem was not revenge. It was my unwillingness to let the price go where it wanted to go, even if it didn't follow my plan. Another form of FOMO appeared when I missed a setup completely. Sometimes the market would move hundreds of pips without me. And the feeling was surprisingly uncomfortable. Not because I lost money, but because I felt like I missed something important. That feeling stayed in my mind. And slowly it pushed me towards something dangerous. Lower quality setups. Trades that I normally would not take. Just to compensate for the opportunity one missed. But the market does not reward emotional compensation. Most of the time those trades ended badly. Another habit I noticed was scrambling on the 1-minute chart. When a strong trend had already started without me, I would zoom down to the smallest timeframe searching for an entry. Looking for any small pullback. Any tiny structure. Sometimes it worked. But more often I found myself buying the top. Or selling the bottom. Because the entry was never planned. It was forced. And forced trades rarely end well. Another source of FOMO came from something outside the charts. Other people. Watching other traders post their successful trades. Seeing screenshots of large profits. Seeing perfect entries shared online. At first it felt inspiring. But slowly it began to create pressure. A quiet voice in my mind would say things like, "Why are you not there yet? Why are they succeeding faster? Maybe you need to trade more aggressively." And that is when impatience begins to grow. Risk per trade slowly increases. Entries become more frequent. The desire to succeed quickly replaces the patience required to succeed properly. Over time I tried many different methods to deal with FOMO. I read articles. Watched videos. Learned techniques about waiting for confirmation. About stepping away from the charts. About sticking strictly to rules. But sometimes, even after applying many of these methods I learned from the internet. I still kept falling into the same trap. Until one day I realized something important. The real solution to FOMO does not begin inside the chart. It begins outside of trading. I remember once a trading mentor mentioning something very simple. He said the solution is to always be thankful. At that time it didn't really make sense to me. It sounded too simple. But over time I slowly began to understand what he meant. Many of us approach trading from a position of scarcity. We feel like something is missing. Missing profit. Missing opportunities. Missing success. And when the mind operates from scarcity, FOMO becomes almost inevitable. Because every missed move feels like something was taken away from us. But gratitude slowly changes that perspective. It shifts the mind from scarcity to abundance. I began practicing gratitude in small ways outside of trading. When it rains, instead of complaining about the weather, I remind myself that the plants are being watered. Or that it is a perfect day to stay home and enjoy a quiet cup of coffee. When family members or loved ones nag me, instead of feeling irritated, I try to remember that it means they care. Even something as simple as waking up in the morning. Having a roof above our head. Having food on the table. Having another chance to try again today. These small moments slowly reshape the mind. And interestingly, that shift begins to appear in trading as well. When we feel abundant, we no longer need to chase every move. We can be grateful for the 100 or 200 pips we captured, even if the market later moves another 1,000. We can be thankful for quiet, choppy market days where no trades appear. Because those days give us time to backtest, study, or simply rest. Even losing trades begin to look different. Instead of feeling like failure, we can be thankful that our account is still intact. That we respected our risk. That we are still in the game. And tomorrow the market will give us another opportunity to try again. There is also another realization that helped me a lot. Comparison is the thief of joy. And it can also destroy gratitude. When we constantly compare our trading journey with others, we forget something important. Everyone starts from a different place. Different capital. Different financial background. Different experience. Different strategy. So eventually I made a small but important change. I left trading Telegram groups. I stopped discussing trades with other traders too frequently. Not because they are wrong, but because everyone has their own method and their own edge. Instead of constantly looking outward, I started looking inward. Focusing on my own trading journal. My own progress. My own lessons. And strangely, that made the pressure much lighter. Anyway. That is today's entry from my trading journal. If you have ever experienced FOMO in trading, would genuinely love to hear about it. What usually triggers it for you? Is it missing a big move? Entering too late? Or feeling pressure after seeing other traders succeed? If you feel comfortable sharing, you can leave a comment below. Sometimes reading each other's experiences reminds us that we are not alone in this journey. And if you would like to follow the rest of these journal entries, consider subscribing. Each video is simply another page from this journal. Until the next entry, stay patient. May your hands stay steady, your heart strong, and your spirit calm on the turbulent sea of trading. Saya.